So this is the question that people always ask all the time. Like, how do you actually, get the landlords to trust you? How do you get the investors to trust you? So for them to want to give you money, or for the landlords to want to hand over the properties to you. And it's probably one of the easier parts of the process if you just understand the psychology of people. Because oftentimes what happens, and a lot of, even forget the property industry, a lot of people do this in general. When you're trying to get something across to someone, you're trying to sell to someone, you just start talking about all of the features and all of the benefits, right? But if you don't truly understand what is driving that person, it's difficult for you to understand what their features and their benefits are. And ultimately, as humans, that's all that matters to us, right? Generally, that's how people think. What have you done for me lately? How does this actually benefit me? And this is the mindset we have to go into when we're having conversations with landlords and investors. How is it going to benefit them? You don't really know that unless you ask the right questions. So the first thing you've got to understand is, what is their current situation? What's their current situation? Have a conversation about them, with them. That's going to draw out their pain points. So how are you finding things at the moment? Where do you feel that I could add value? What are the things that you feel like you're missing out or that could be improved? Right? What are maybe the agents not doing for you right now? What are you actually doing with your money right now? Where have you got your money invested? What kind of returns are you getting from the bank? What kind of if we're talking about investors, you might be thinking about, oh yeah, I know they're getting 0. This and I know this is but find out from them, because they could actually come up with something. It could be something along the lines of, their daughter's got to go to school in 2 years' time and they need this amount of money, but the stock markets are bleeding, right? They used to have a crypto wallet. Now they don't want to leave their money in crypto because they're scared they're losing the money, but they don't also want to leave in the bank, which was, at least it was in the bank before and they wasn't losing money. Right, but now they're actually losing money in the bank, but they've got this deadline of their daughter that's going to college that they're going to pay for. How do they actually not just save that money they've got, but also add another, 20, 30, 40, 50%? Now you understand those pain points. The language that you're using can then be very, very targeted at them. And everything that you're talking about, you cannot keep pointing it back to, once you get this, you're a little bit closer to your daughter's school fees. Once you get this, now you're able to put your daughter in the position that, that you would like to see it in. How would you feel when you're in that position? Now you've actually got all the money in your bank and you no longer have to worry about your daughter's school fees. Now it's a different emotional trigger for them now, because you're really hitting home at their pain points, right? So you need to understand what their current situation is. That is the very, very first thing. And you can only do that by asking questions. The second thing is, what's their ideal scenario? Where would you actually like to be? What situation would you want to be in that would make you say, yes, I've cracked it. I'm in a great position. I'm happy with this situation. Because what you're then able to do is use your language to explain to them how your product, how your services is actually going to give them that exact scenario that they're looking for. And you can at least match that scenario. And sometimes it may mean that you're taking a bit of a haircut. Maybe you're not making as much of a profit. But listen, business in general, and I always say this about property, it's a people business. It's about people at the end of the day. And sometimes it's not all about profits. Yes, you might take a haircut, but you've just brought someone new on board and you had absolutely zero chance of getting that person on board because you don't know what the ideal scenario was. But now that you do, and maybe matching that ideal scenario means you're taking a bit of a haircut, but nonetheless, you have just got another deal under the belt. But guess what? It's not just one deal. That could be your next referral. It could be your next 10 referrals. It could be that's just a test start. Now that we know you've got this, we're actually going to scale this up for you now. I've actually got another 10 properties. I've actually got another 15 properties. Or I've actually got another £100,000. Or I've got a couple of friends who've got, a few £100,000 that have been looking for the right person. You know what? You've proven yourself. Let's make this happen. You never know what's behind that curtain, what's behind that door. But you're never going to know unless you ask the right questions. So once you know what the current situation is, You then ask what the ideal scenario is going to be. That's when you then close them on a new outcome. Well, look, Mr. Landlord, look, Mr. Investor, there is actually another option. There is another scenario. Let me introduce you to. Yeah, and then you introduce them to your solution. But when you're speaking about your solution, you're then able to use direct language, directly attacking the points that you've been able to get out of them. You're talking about his or her daughter, right? You're talking about what the ideal outcome actually would be. And then now they're in your arms because you have now become the solution to the problems. So that's really all you've got to do. You've just got to become a better listener, right? And a better communicator. Start asking the right questions. What is the right questions? You know, what's important to this person? And you don't just want to go into it with, I'm just going to get the most out of this person. I'm just going to go ahead to try and find out their pain so I can, you know, give them the solution so I can get what I want. You've actually got to care. Like, just speak to someone and understand what the pain points are. And look, in the end, from speaking to them, you might realize that your solution is not the right solution for them. This is also perfectly fine. Direct them to the right solution for them. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but I promise you, it has worked for my business and it has worked for many, many of the successful people who I've been privileged enough to interview, and it will work for you as well. Just remember, everything is all about value first. You give value on the front end and you will get things in return. I've pushed people away from me, from my business, even investors, for them to actually come back and refer people back to me who were more suited for my business. So now it means I'm actually working with people, the type of people who I want to be working with, but also I've got people out there who are referring people to me because I've turned them away, because now it shows integrity. So that's really it. If you want to start attracting more landlords and more investors into your business, you have to have integrity and you have to follow these 3 very simple steps. So the first one is, what is the current situation? Second one, what's the ideal scenario? And then quite simply, you then close them on the new outcome based on the information that you've been able to get from the first 2 steps. So I hope you found this video very, very valuable. If you have, then make sure to click on the like button, click subscribe, and also press the bell button so you can get notified when more videos like this come out. And I will see you all on the next video.